Boys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, I've been rocking. We've been rocking this whole time.
Yo, we're live, bro.
We've been live.
We've been live.
Hey, what's going on? Cameron Barkey here. We're just on the ThoughtXchange with my co-host here, Steve Van Diest, and we're hanging out with our boy James Nason.
Hey.
We are see where the conversation takes us, but the main topic of today is going to be about intermittent fasting. James here is I consider you an expert in the subject, or
I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Let's preface this right off the bat. He is not a doctor, but he's got a lot of experience in the realm of intermittent fasting, and we're just diving into the importance of taking care of our bodies from a holistic standpoint, and where intermittent fasting comes into play. So, I don't know.
I guess the first question I'd have is like, how did this even start? Like, where did this even wanting to learn how to fast even start?
So, I hurt my shoulder years ago and went to physio and got it all fixed up. And when I was getting back to the gym, I didn't want to accidentally do anything that would re-injure my shoulder. I was paranoid about it. So I hired a personal trainer. And he put me on a nutritional plan, and it was the 6 small meals a day that everybody tells you to do.
Yeah.
So I would start at 7 in the morning with a half a cup of oatmeal and a banana and a little bit of milk. And I normally didn't eat in the mornings. I worked in restaurants, so I wouldn't eat until at the earliest, usually like 3 o'clock. So I started this this diet that he put me on, and I was working a sales job. And from about 7 o'clock in the morning until I went to sleep, I would be ravenously hungry because I was never eating enough. So as soon as I took that first bite of oatmeal, I was hungry, and then I would be hungry, and I would literally count the minutes until 10 o'clock, which is when I could have my next meal, which was a piece of chicken with rice and vegetables. And then like an hour later, I could have like an apple. And like, so he was like, you can have a cheat day every Sunday. Every Sunday you can have a cheat day. I was like, okay, great. So then I figured it out. One cheat day, I think in about 45 minutes, I ate about 10,000 calories of Papa John's. And so I wasn't losing any weight, right?
How many pizzas is that?
2 pizzas, a big thing of the garlic, cheese, bacon stuffed fingers, the pepperoni rolls, which are awesome, and a big thing of dessert with 2 liters of milk.
Yo, hold on. Papa John's makes a quality product.
They do,
and that's why, a nice pizza.
That's why I crushed the whole meal.
And I know pizza. That's a nice. Papa John's.
They're tasty stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Yeah.
So I wasn't losing any weight, and he was like, "I don't get it, man." Like, and I'm like, "Well, I do this concocted diet that you threw me on, and I'm starving every minute of every day, and I hate it." And
it's so true.
It's 100%.
Like training, like it's not the way it's supposed to. First of all, the cheat day is not actually supposed to be a cheat day. It's supposed to be a carb loading day.
Yeah.
Which means that like if you're basically depriving your body of carbohydrates all week, and then at the end of the week you load up on carbs. That's how it is. So your body then starts to take that energy and postpone it throughout the whole week. But
you can't go 10,000 Papa John's carbs, though.
No.
Like, come on, it's abusing it. You should have some bread.
You pass out. Like, I guarantee what ended up happening is you basically probably ate Papa John's.
His blood sugar went through the roof. You were like high.
Your body would just go,
like,
we need to preserve this energy to digest this fucking food that's in our belly. So shut everything down.
It was Walking Day though, or Walking Dead Day. So it wasn't too bad, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, so I tell my trainer, and he said, you don't get hungry until you eat. And I said, well, no, I don't get hungry until I eat. And he says, well, have you ever heard of intermittent fasting? I said, no. He said, so you just don't eat anything for 16 hours, except for black coffee and water, or tea. And I said, I don't drink tea. And then he said, then you just you eat the same amount of calories, but you eat it in 8 hours instead. So you can essentially like triple the size of your meal and eat like a regular adult. instead of eating like a little cup of oatmeal. So I said, okay, well, that's cool. So I started doing that, and I noticed over the first month, A, I wasn't hungry anymore, which was awesome. And B, I was eating all of my food in about a 3.5 hour window anyway. So I thought, well, I might as well just make it 20 hours fasting and 4 hours feeding. And that way, if I need to like slide it around, like maybe I want to eat a little earlier on Christmas Day, I would just start my fast earlier on Christmas Eve. So I could just move that like 8 hour window, kind of fluctuated a little bit. And that was awesome. I loved it. And then I started looking into the science behind it. Then I rolled into, after about a year, I started adding in a 44-hour fast once a week, because there's a lot of data on that with like the spike in human growth hormone that you get and the reduction in cortisol and how good it is for you just to kind of give your body that extra time to reset.
Why 44 and not 48?
Like
I'm just saying a good solid 2 days. Why that 4 hours?
It's the same idea as the 20-hour fast and the 4-hour feast. I would fast for 44 hours, but then I would leave myself at the end of my day a 4-hour window.
At the very end of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
So then I'm keeping my eating schedule roughly at the same time. And then I started looking into more. I started coming across people like, there's this YouTuber named Simland. He's from the Netherlands. He's really good with the keto and the fasting. I found another guy, Thomas DeLauer. He's really good with the intermittent fasting. There's a doctor in the States, Dr. Eric Berg. Started watching his stuff. There's a guy in Toronto called Dr. Jason Fung. He wrote the obesity code. He's really good. He's got a lot of like actual data to back up what he says, which is really interesting, like the hormone levels and stuff and how your body's going to fluctuate through and like your leptin's going to drop and this is going to go up.
Leptin, that's the hunger hormone.
The hunger hormone, yeah.
You just got it now, or you just figured it out, like after just talking about it.
It's all coming together.
But it's interesting though. Like I know a lot of people right now are even talking about these keto diets, and I'm just like, and talking about, first of all, keto is a short form for ketosis, but like being in ketosis is very dangerous. Like getting
it can
into,
be
because you basically become acidic at that point, don't you? Like you have to almost like there's like a sweet zone.
Day 2 is kind of they call it the keto flu. So when you first start a keto diet, what you're doing is your muscles are filled with glycogen, which is derived from
like
sugar.
Yeah.
So carbohydrates are sugar. So what happens is your body will burn through all the glycogen in your muscle, then it attacks all the glycogen stored in your liver. Then after that, you go through a brief period where your body knows there's no sustenance coming in, so it will break down a small amount of protein off your muscle to spare the fat at first. Then at about the 72, 76 hours, so at about the end of 3 days, then your body will kick over and you become fat adapted. So normally, depending on what you've got in your system and what you've been eating, it can take anywhere from about 3 days to about 7 days to get fully onto ketosis. But once you're on ketosis, you're laughing. Your hunger's going to go down. You're going to be converting all of the body fat through your liver into ketone bodies. There's one, it's like a beta hydroxy, I think something like that. It's a fatty acid that your brain can use, and your brain actually does really, really well on it. So your body will...
It's almost like, okay, we're starving. We need to basically send more information to the brain so that way it can figure this shit out.
Yeah. More nutrients.
More nutrients so it can figure it to save the brain.
Yeah, the fat, a lot of fat is in the brain. That's what I say.
Yeah.
So
fish is good for
and it makes sense,
all those
right?
oils, all those fatties, all those good fats. Anyways, keep going, sorry.
And that's what it is. And then once you're fat adapted, you're going to have less hunger. You're not going to have insulin spikes. It's a great way to reset your taste buds. It's a great way to reset insulin sensitivity. So like a lot of people that have bad diabetes, their doctor will recommend that they go onto a ketogenic diet because you're not going to get insulin spikes.
You got to be careful with that though, because you can crash. Like if you're like a diabetic people, you got to be real careful.
That's the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, that's why you need those Barra strips, and you need to figure out where you're at in terms of your.
You don't want to mess around with
because
that.
you don't want to mess around with. That's what I'm saying. Like so many people are talking about, I'm getting rid of all carbohydrates and just eating proteins, and I'm like, but then your body starts to cannibalize itself.
And you have to keep. The problem is people think I can just eat whatever protein I want. Ketosis is a fat-based diet, so you still got to keep your proteins right where they were at about 25%. Because if you eat too much protein at one time, it's going to convert it into glucose. that's when you run into a lot of problems.
That's the thing. You start basically burning protein instead of burning fats.
Right.
Right. And that's the or carbohydrates.
Yeah. So you got to keep the fat way, way high. It's like 75%.
What's good for what type of food is good for fats?
Eggs, cheese, bacon, fattier meats if you want. Cook everything in butter. Like I just did a week.
This is a keto diet though.
Yeah.
Ketogenics or whatever. Yeah. Okay, I see that.
So I did keto all last week, and I didn't gain any weight, but I was eating like tons of food.
Is there vegetables in with this, or is it mostly meat? Is this the diet that's just meat?
No, that's the carnivore diet.
Okay.
That's like a step beyond. Like for example, I had 300 grams of Brussels sprouts one day. I had 400 grams of broccoli the next day. So you can still have carbs. You just got to keep your net carbs to below about 20 grams. And then you'll be ketogenic.
A day or a meal?
A day.
That's not a lot.
It's not a lot. It's not that hard though.
Yeah.
Because you're eating the things that make you sated.
Yeah.
You're eating like lots of fat. Like you have 6 eggs and sprinkle some cheese on top and you cook it in butter. That's really filling. For most people. I mean, I not for me, but.
Yeah, 110%.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so let's keep going on the journey. So
So then I went from a 2-day fast, and then I was like, well, 2 days is good, maybe 3 days is better. So I did about 2 months of research, and I found out that 3-day fast is actually really good for you. So then I added that in, and then last December I did my first 5-day, which is about 120 hours, I think. And then in January this year I did 9. And then in March I did a 10. In May I did a 10. In July I did
wasn't it a 30?
5.
Where did you do that long one?
August.
August.
And then August I did 25 days.
So,
no, sorry, August I did 20 days.
Okay, so how long have you been doing this now? Like when did this actually
almost
start?
4 years.
So this 4 years ago is when you started doing the fasting.
Yeah.
And then how long ago was it that you did the
long
30 day?
The long term? It was 25 days and it was last month.
It's 25 days last month.
Yeah, totally. He did like a large. I was telling Steve about you. And I was like, yo, he did like a big fast.
Are you going after 40? Is that what's going on? Are you going after 40 days and 40 nights?
I am going to do 40 for Lent next year.
How many pounds did you lose? Didn't you lose 60 pounds or something?
So when I started with the intermittent fasting, I was 284 and about 34% body fat. And 1 year later, I was 219 and 16% body fat.
What was the body fat percentage that went down? You cut it in half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and you lost 70 pounds.
Yeah.
You went from 285 to 220.
Yeah.
Or 215, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
So it's really good. The intermittent fasting is super easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy.
What does it consist of? Like, what's the...
You literally just don't put any food in your mouth.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I heard it's super dangerous to... you intermittent fast, and you have to go very slow with eating food because you can kill yourself if you go 20 days without eating. And you're like, pizza.
If you're doing anything past 72 hours, which is about a 3-day fast, when you break fast, you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
Because you can get refeed syndrome. Now, having said that, I don't have that problem.
Refeed syndrome?
Yeah, where you put so you don't eat for 20 days and you go to McDonald's and you throw down a Big Mac, a quarter pounder, and some fries.
You eat a bunch of shit.
It is going to kill you.
It might actually kill you. You might die.
Your gut is going to
because it's
freak out.
Your body's super clean, so it's
and it just goes into shock.
So all of a sudden you start giving it all this poison, and your body's now can't handle it.
Not even poison. Like if you pounded back a massive salad.
It could still
in a protein shake. It could
but that's
still
what I'm
kill
saying. It's like you have to. It's like eating too clean, and all of a sudden you just start. You have to slowly reintroduce the food into your body because it's because whatever is in there is not being broken down properly.
So what would you reintroduce? And I know we're talking about bone broth. I'd like you to go into detail with that, the collagen and the health benefits of that. But when you're on the fast, can you have broth?
No.
Oh, not even broth.
Sorry. If that's what you wanted to do, you could, but you're going to be much hungrier. Right? Because it's only...
Kind of like a tease?
Yeah, it's only like 10 calories, but it is enough to get your system going.
So you're teasing yourself on purpose. So it's
it's gonna reset everything, and it's gonna kick you mostly out of your fasted state. So all of the real
hard
all
work.
of the deep benefit you get from a longer fast, you're not gonna get.
What's a deep benefit?
You get a lot of healing. So 80% of the calories you consume go to digesting new food. So when you don't consume new food, your body takes all that energy and it'll work on your system. So you slip into pretty high levels of autophagy, where your body goes through your system and it tries to find cells that are not dead, but that are not producing. So they're called senescent cells. That's why you get like white hair. When a cell, like a hair follicle or whatever, goes senescent, it spits out inflammation, which can cause other cells to then fail, which means that they're still taking energy, but they're not doing their job, and they're actually causing damage to your system. So when you slip into autophagy, which takes about 20 hours of no food, your body will then send things through it to find those damaged cells. It breaks them down and it goes, okay, well, this piece is still good, this piece is still good. We'll use those in a new cell. This is all garbage. Let's break this down and use it for energy.
Wow.
So your body will like self-repair. It's almost like a...
It sounds
that makes me feel good. Like
it sounds
really
like
exciting.
it sounds like a self-preservation thing, but it also sounds in a sense where it's like
It's cleaning.
It's like cleaning. It's like
It's
basically
self-cleaning.
when your business is starting to like fail, and you're like, okay, this
Yeah.
is wasted money. Get rid of it. We're gonna take that money and use it over here. That's no good. Let's start pruning the trees and start getting rid of everything. Let's start to make this a well-tuned, oil-efficient machine.
That's literally exactly what it is.
Because we have no, and then like you said too, like all the energy sent to the brain,
Yeah.
and then repairs the system.
So
Yeah.
is that like free radicals? Same thing? Is that kind of
So
like
they did. They haven't done studies on humans because the hippies won't let us. But they did trials on mice where they did
what about the mice's feelings though?
Nobody cares about their feelings. They get cheese. Relax. They're fine.
Okay, I don't know. Like,
So they do these trials on time-restricted eating and like fasting these mice. And again, we don't know if it will work on humans, but there is some pretty solid evidence that it will. The mice lived up to 30% longer.
wow.
And they were healthier when they did it.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is they're causing it's a form of hormetic stress, right? It's the same as when you work out. It's the same as when you go in the sauna. It's the same as when you go out in the cold. You're putting your body under a short-term temporary stress, which is driving benefit because it's making your system more efficient.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you fast. You kick into autophagy. You get a massive spike in human growth hormone, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're gonna eat all your protein. You're gonna lose all your muscle." You're not gonna lose your muscle.
You lose a little bit though.
You lose a little
small
bit,
percent.
only at the start.
Yeah.
But here's the idea, and this is the analogy that I heard. I think it was Dr. Fung in Toronto that said it. He's like, "Look, all summer you cut down wood, you pile the wood up beside your house. You got a wood stove. When it gets cold, you don't look at the big wood pile outside and go, yeah, I better not use that fuel. I'm gonna chop up my dresser." Like, you don't take anything you're gonna use and use it for fuel. You're gonna use the things that you save for fuel. Same thing with human beings. We save all this fat so that eventually, if we didn't live in the Western world where we always had food, there were always periods of feast and famine. So it's like, you've got 100,000 calories on your system.
Saved for when shit hits
Save
the
for when
fan
thing goes bad. Yeah, like, so you come across a chunk of time. It doesn't make sense that you're gonna die. People that died that didn't have food didn't have kids. The rest of us come from people who survived.
Jeez.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
yeah.
it's a great backup system. And I mean, every culture has fasting. Every single culture has fasting. Every religion has fasting. It's very important. Very, very good for you.
You can do it for spiritual reasons as well, correct?
Yes.
Fasting, yeah.
100%.
So what is the what's the whole benefit on the spiritual side of everything in terms of trying to do the fasting now? Like, is it you just get more in tune with the body, so then you become more aligned with all your senses?
I don't know what other people get from it, but so I'm like Christian, so I do my Bible reading and stuff, and it for me, it showcases that we are dependent on something, right? Like, you need when you go 20 days without food, it's, even though you're choosing to do it, you still have to, like, in my case, again, spiritually, I lean out towards God.
And trust that you don't die. Please don't kill me.
Oddly enough, everyone is worried they're going to die. But I have not gone to my doctor. First of all, my doctor said not to do this. He thought I was crazy. But I went and saw my doctor after I'd already done a 9-day, 2 10 days. And he was like, "Oh, you look great. You look like you're losing weight," and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, "Yeah, I've been fasting." He's like, "Oh, don't do that. I'm like, why not? I can send you the research I did. I don't think he ever read it, mind you, but yeah.
He's like, I'm not gonna learn doctor stuff from a
Joe
from
Schmo,
my patient. My patient can't teach me anything.
some fucking schmuck.
I went to school for 15 years.
But
I got a piece of paper.
Yeah.
and that's the thing. So like, look, they get lots of money from pharmaceutical companies. Pharmaceutical companies, especially in the States, they just flood the market. So the food company sells you crappy food that makes you unhealthy, and then the pharmaceutical company comes in and sells you stuff that gives you side effects that you need more stuff to get side effects for. Like,
It's a perpetuating cycle.
Exactly.
Like, people don't get that stuff. Like, right?
it's a business.
It's a business. Like, and not like there's a whole thing. Like, if you check out the hierarchy of like which company owns what, there's like, what is it, like 10 companies. If you look at the 10 top companies own all the food in the supermarket is owned by.
It's down to 4.
It's down to
in the
4, yeah.
US.
4 companies own all the food in the supermarket.
Correct.
And then all on top of that, so all the food, they control all the food to 4 companies,
The
and then
Pepsi's
the
one?
pharmaceutical companies are the ones that are making the most amount of money. And then once they get a monopoly on a pill, then they jack it up to $500 a pill.
100%.
You know,
well, they're there to make money. They don't want you to die. They want you to live as long as possible taking their drug.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, but they don't want you to get better either. It's
There's-
kind of like a
there's-
happy medium.
There's no improvement in your quality of life.
They're not
Right?
trying to make you. There's no. They never say they'll never. It's like they'll never find a cure. They'll never, because there's no money in the cure.
No.
The money is in the treatment,
So
not
they-
in the cure.
They fucked up with penicillin. They're like, oh, this is super cheap. Ah, damn it.
Because they fucked up with polio. Because man, we fucked polio right up, man. We got it. We got a cure for that shit. We fucked that right up.
So yeah,
Jeez,
100%.
that's wild. Okay, so
100%.
So how do I start? Like, let's say, for instance, if I'm because I've been interested in doing. I actually tomorrow I'm supposed to be starting a diet or a nutritional thing with this. A girl reached out to me. And she
Nice.
says I got to fast for 12 hours.
12 hours is nothing.
12 hours.
You sleep for 8 hours. Just stop eating 2 hours before bed.
Oh, so
Don't
I
eat
fast-
until 2
so
hours.
basically I
That's
fast
nothing,
For
yeah,
12
you
hours
fast
all the
8
time. I
hours all the
basically don't eat all day. Like yesterday, I didn't eat till like I think 6 o'clock, 7
What?
o'clock. I didn't get a chance to eat, drink, or do anything until.
Now, the
till
key
night.
is it's got to only be water, because a lot of times people are like, I haven't eaten anything, but it's like, oh, I had a pop.
That's sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
so
ruins
it's
it.
got to be just water, just black
can
coffee.
you have lemon
just
water?
tea.
Lemon water?
I don't, but you probably could get away with it.
Yeah.
Black
I mean,
coffee is okay because
black coffee is okay.
I've been doing the thing like ever since I started drinking coffee black. Like one, I couldn't drink coffee because I would fill it with sugar a lot of times and then I'd pass out. So I'm like, it was having an opposite effect on me.
Yeah.
But ever since I started drinking coffee straight black, I've been able to drink it first thing in the morning, suppress any hunger, and literally I'm just like, I'm good to go, and I have all of this energy from and no hunger, and I'm good to go. And then and just water. That's like those are the only 2 things that I'm really drinking. The tea, I'm finding, tea has a tendency to go right through my body really quickly.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of tea.
Can you have apple cider vinegar on a fast?
Yes, you can.
Okay, good. Okay, what are the benefits of that?
Oh,
Apple cider
huge.
vinegar.
It's good for your gut. It's going to help your skin. It's going to help your fingernails. It's going to clean out the microbes and stuff.
Yeah.
What else does it do? It does a ton of stuff. Put it this way. I don't remember all the good things it does.
Yeah, because there's so
because
many of
there's
them.
so many of
Yeah,
them.
okay.
Now, it's so disgusting. It's the worst thing in the world. But
I just bought a whole bunch of apple
No,
cider
no, no.
vinegar
He never
because
had it before.
I've never had it
And
before.
He's like,
and I-
yeah,
Wait,
he's like,
did
because
you-
he sees me with it.
did you get the stuff with the mother? You have to get
It's
the
got
mother.
the mother, yeah. We got
yeah.
Yeah, you saw this.
So you can, if
Is
you
it this similar to the kombucha mother at the bottom of that?
Yeah, same
So,
idea.
'cause I like
Sort of
down
similar.
kombucha.
Yeah.
I down kombucha like I
yeah,
love that
kombucha's
stuff.
kombucha's like sauerkraut. Also very, very good for you.
Yeah, well,
Because
you
it's-
know what? I'm noticing a thing with kombucha. It's there's like a commercialized version of it with like 55 grams of sugar in it, and then
You
there's
gotta
like,
get the
you
real
gotta get
authentic
the real
shit.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Authentic stuff. Yeah, I've seen it's been commercialized.
It's all probiotic if you
Yeah.
get like the original
It's so
stuff.
interesting though too. Like it's like everyone kind of thinks, oh, it's too hard. I can't do this. But once I started getting all the toxins out of my body, I was just like, I'm not craving sugar anymore. But not only that, but I don't want it because now that every time I have it,
You feel sick.
I feel sick.
Yeah.
I want to throw up. I'm just like, I can't have the chips anymore. I can't. I'm just like, you can feel the poison in
Oh,
it
yeah.
after you
It's
start to cleanse your system up.
heavy. It's heavy.
It's heavy. I'm like, and I'm literally zonked right out. Like I gotta go to sleep and
Yeah.
it's interesting. It'll be interesting to do this fast. Like I'd be interested to try this fast and try to see how to do it. But like, what are some of the things like if anybody else is looking to do a fast, or like
So-
how do you recommend to do it or try it, or what's the best way to start?
I tell everybody the same thing. Start really slow. 16 hours is your hard minimum. So that's the soonest you want to break your fast. 16 hours is like the magic number. 18 is better than 16, and 20 is better than 18. Just for like a day-to-day thing.
That's because you're starting to break into that.
You're getting
special
into
zone, right?
higher autophagy and more fat burning and higher human growth hormone. Like the difference between eating, you get up in the morning.
And this is the intermittent fasting.
This is just the intermittent.
This is the stuff you got to be doing on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So you just being like you don't eat for 16 hours or 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then you eat for 4.
Yeah.
And then you don't eat again for another 20.
Yeah.
So and you can eat as much as you want in that 4.
Well,
So what you're saying? So like
not as much as you want, but
Not the
likely,
Papa John's.
Not the Papa John's, but I'm
likely
saying-
you will not be able to eat more than you can handle.
But what I'm saying is like in that 4 hours, I could have a meal in hour 1 and then have a meal in hour 3.
Yeah.
And maybe have the last thing in hour 4.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I don't have to
20
eat.
hours?
And then go another 20 hours. So
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
within that 4 hours, I can just spread my meals out in that
Yeah.
4 hours.
So you're eating the same amount you would eat normally. You're just crunching it into 4 hours.
yeah.
So you're going to eat. You're going to have bigger meals. So you're going to be satiated, right? Like for example, I could do 16-ounce steak,
Yeah.
2 potatoes, sour cream, container of mushrooms, a whole onion,
Oh man, that sounds so good.
and that's like 2,000 calories,
Right.
right? So that's like almost 3/4 of what I would eat. I eat maybe another like 1,000, 1,500 calories, depending on what I did that day. So then maybe I want to throw some cheese in, or maybe I want to throw some Brussels sprouts in. I start with some bone broth. Maybe I want to do eggs. Eggs are really good for you, so I try and eat a lot. You got to get the good ones though at the market.
High cholesterol with eggs?
No,
though?
that's the thing. Like that's what I'm wondering. Like a lot of people talk about like when you can eat tons of egg whites, but it's the yolk.
No, you can eat the yolk.
Like that's not
Eating
that's not
cholesterol will not give you high cholesterol.
no. Okay.
No. Well, I did keto. Like I think I've had half a dozen eggs every day that I've eaten for like 4 years, and my cholesterol is fine. My cousin, who doesn't do that, has high cholesterol, and he takes a pill. I don't take no pill.
I take a pill. I can't even imagine it. Like if I'm taking pills, I'm just like I need to figure something to
Yeah,
get
I
off
gotta
this
fix
pill.
this.
He was
'Cause
like-
I'm like I don't want to be on a pill.
He was 38.
Can you imagine being dependent on a pill, man?
No, thank you.
Dude, that's
Like
a lot
that
of people listening,
sucks,
dude.
man. They are
lot of
dependent
people are on
dependent on
that, yeah.
pills, man. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, that's scary thought. And like a lot of people would be like pills. Don't get me wrong. There's certain things that pills can kind of help you, but you have to look at like, okay, the pills got to be a way to get you out of it.
Yeah.
Not a way to.
Yeah, it's not a
It's not a fix.
it's not a walking cane. It's a crutch I use short term.
Yeah.
You know, I hurt my ankle. I'm going to use this crutch. 3 weeks later, I don't need the crutch.
Yeah.
As opposed to now I walk with a cane for the rest of my life. Are you kidding me?
That's kind of true, actually. Yeah, that's hilarious. Let's go to physio and get this shit fixed.
Yeah.
You know,
Right?
Here's your cane. Yeah.
Here's your cane. Here's a cane. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
Here. Or, oh, I see you've gained a little weight. Here, have this cart. You can drive around to McDonald's in this little cart.
Oh yeah.
How bad is that, dude? When I see people like that, I get so stressed out sometimes.
But you know what? Like,
What happened?
it's like you're so far gone. Like, where do you even start at that point?
Start
Like,
fasting.
that's the
Wait, hold on.
that's
The-
that's the point.
The
Like,
journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Yes.
There you go. That's where you start right there.
Wow.
You start walking up the stairs. Is what you start
Right?
doing.
Wow.
Honestly, so walking,
I love
super,
walking.
super
man.
low impact. It's going to have massive health benefits. If you walk for 30 minutes a day, your health and your quality of life will shoot through the roof.
Is poor Cameron? Is his audio done?
I don't know.
What do you mean? What's going
Cam,
on
I
there?
think your audio's gone, Cam.
Check 1, 2. I'm not popping up there.
You're not popping up.
No.
Is your battery, or did you just flip the switch? Like, check the switch on the side there, man.
Where's your battery at?
You unplugged. You unplugged it. This poor guy's got no audio because he
There
doesn't
we go.
have his microphone plugged in. So if you guys haven't heard,
now-
Cameron,
now you're
yeah,
back. Now you're back.
Turn
Yeah,
it.
I'm
So
back.
the knob on the thing. So you see the knob there? You have to tighten that knob and tighten. No, the metal ring. There you go, brother. There
Working
you
on
go.
it, guys.
Yeah, mine's tightened. Mine's nice.
Yeah.
Yo. Hey, we're
How
back.
long have you been? That's okay.
Audio
Nobody's
list?
really listening
Yeah,
to
no,
me. You haven't said anything anyway, so it's okay.
Oh, I haven't said shit,
You
eh?
haven't said shit.
It's all good.
This guy's got no audio. You should be back now, right? You back?
I think
You
so.
back in the game right now?
Should be
Yeah,
back
you're
in
back
the
in the
game.
game.
Yeah,
We
there
got
you
Cameron. We lost Cameron for a little bit there, guys, but we're okay.
He was barking mad.
I guess, eh?
That's right.
Okay, anyways, what were we talking
Okay,
about?
we were talking about how we're getting started. Okay, so
So-
what's the ingredients we need?
You can eat whatever you want.
What do you mean, whatever you want? You just said before we need to basically.
Well,
break it
you
down.
want to do keto, you want to go vegetarian, you want to be vegan, you want to do carnivore, you want to eat a standard diet. Any diet you want will benefit from intermittent fasting.
So what's a great, so 16, 4-hour window, 20 hours, and then for the rest of the week eat normal?
No, you do that every day.
Oh, that's
every
every day.
every single day, and you'll get massive. So the difference between, let's say you get, say you go to bed at midnight. So you stop eating at 10, you go to bed at midnight. You get up the next morning at 8, 10 o'clock. So you've waited 12 hours, okay, which is pretty standard. Maybe even less than that. I don't know.
So
what
12
regular-
hours would get me to.
Nowhere.
So, no. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So at 12 o'clock at night, you
Yeah.
stop eating, as we said, or he says to stop eating at 10.
Yeah, you say you stop eating at 10.
So stop eating at 10, and then you eat again. So your next meal would be at what time?
If you're doing the 16 split, your next meal would be at noon.
At noon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's normal.
That's pretty easy.
That's pretty normal.
But
Like,
think about most people when they get up.
They eat
so
a
if they
big
get up
meal.
at 7 o'clock, they have breakfast, or they're on their way to work and they grab a coffee and a donut, or a
Yeah.
coffee and a muffin. So the difference between waiting 20 hours to eat and eating like a regular person eats in North America is about a 1,600% increase in human growth hormone.
Okay.
And human growth hormone builds muscle. Teenagers have shit tons of it. It's disgusting. I want that.
It fixes joints.
It does everything you want. It helps you lose fat. It helps you build muscle. It keeps your organs healthy.
That's why
gives
those
you
guys,
energy.
that's why those big, huge bodybuilders, man, fill themselves with growth
yeah.
hormones, and they
Oh, that's
become
nuts.
like
It saves
they
their
become
joints
like
and
5-foot guys who are like 6 feet wide.
Yeah.
You know.
That's unreal. So this is a natural way to increase. So you get growth hormone 3 different times in your day. When you wake up from sleep, you get a shot of human growth hormone because your body wants you up, energized with ability to do stuff.
Consumption.
When you break your fast, you will get a shot. And then if you exercise, post-exercise, you'll get a shot. So if you really want to maximize your human growth hormone, wake up in the morning, do not eat.
Coffee though. You said
Have your coffee.
Have
Have
black
all,
coffee.
all the coffee. Well, not all the coffee, but have coffee.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe you go to work, you get done work at 4 o'clock, go to the gym. A lot of people have issues with going to the gym fasted. Trust me, from personal experience, you cannot eat for 5 days and still go to the gym.
It's actually, you're a lot lighter. I find like when you go and exercise on an empty stomach, you're a lot lighter, so you actually move
Yeah.
a lot easier because you're not carrying all this extra weight on your stomach.
Depends where you're
right?
training, though.
You should be doing high weight training. You should avoid cardio.
You do, yeah, that's the thing. You should be doing compound movements, so
Yeah.
bench press,
Bench,
back
squat.
squats,
I
pull-ups,
find
all
if
stuff
I
like-
don't have like a meal in me,
Deadlifts.
2 hours before I do a leg workout or something.
Are you really? I would throw up.
That's in your head.
That's in
bro.
your head because I would puke
Yeah.
because what happens is your body's trying to digest that food.
I
while
said
you're
2 hours.
exercising.
I said like
Yes, it's going to take 4 or 5 hours.
okay,
to
well,
move
4 or
through,
5
right?
hours. Like I need to be I need fuel to do a heavy.
No, that's not
heavy
true.
lift.
You need fuel when you eat.
Yeah.
What you need is you need to eat to repair your muscle tissue. That's when you need the fuel. You need the
You'll
fuel
actually get
afterwards.
more benefit if you work. So I like to work out at hour 20. That's my like sweet spot.
before you eat because you're just
Before
like,
I eat.
I'm gonna go work out and
Yeah.
then
Then I'm
build up a
gonna eat,
massive
yeah.
appetite and just
Yeah.
because there's a 45-minute when I was a trainer. There's a that there's a 45-minute window after you work out.
You gotta get food in
that
you.
your body sucks in every bit of nutrients
Mm-hmm.
after a workout. It's almost like imagine this like you got chased by a bear, your adrenaline goes through the roof, and then you killed the bear, and now you eat the bear, and your body now sucks all that energy from
Yeah.
that bear.
Now, the nice thing is, so you fast, you go to the gym. So
So I'm trying to figure out the times. Okay, so,
So-
I'm
so-
gonna stop eating at 10.
Yep.
Stop
So-
eating at 10. I've now at 10 o'clock in the morning is 12 hours. I now
So you wanna wait till
6
2?
till 4. So I don't nothing till 4.
2.
2. That's
Yeah.
for 16.
That's for 16. So let's say,
which seems kind of normal. Like,
yeah. So
that's not-
let's say you decide to go 20. You want to go all the way to 6 o'clock. So at 5
6
o'clock,
o'clock, 4 o'clock. You said
20 hours would be 6.
It's 6? Okay.
Yeah.
Holy
So-
man, that's like
so-
you don't eat till dinner time.
So let's say you go to the gym at 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're only going to do a 45-minute workout. You're going to do your deadlifts, your squats, and I don't know, maybe chin-ups, something like that. You're going to do your split, however you want to do it. You get done at the gym. You do your 20 minutes in the sauna, because I love my sauna. Then you go home. So now it's probably like 6:30, quarter to 7. Now you're in hour 20, coming up on 21. If you break your fast, you don't have to, but I always start with bone broth. It's going to help your gut biomes. It's going to help you with your skin, your hair, your fingernails, your brain, your gut. The other thing that it's going to do is having that in your system before you consume food is going to enable you to pull more nutrients from the food that you're eating. So it's like, you eat the steak without the broth, you get 80% of the value. You eat the steak with the broth, you get 90%. So you're just getting more from everything
Is that
you're
just like
eating.
kind of like the meat kind of mixes in with the waters mix in with the
There's
nutrients,
enzymes in it.
and the nutrients kind of gets into the broth
Yeah.
kind of thing, and then
Well-
it kind of your body then absorbs it almost through the side walls and stuff like that, right?
What the vegans call it is they call it corpse juice, which only makes me like it more. But it's all like when I make my bone broth, I take the chicken carcass. I buy them at Acme Meats. Go Acme Meats. And I take 2, and then I take some feet.
Did you just promo Acme Meats?
I did indeed.
We might have to hit them up for.
I love those guys. They get the
we gotta
best
hit them up
stuff.
for-
There's a place called
Tiger.
Acme Meats,
Yeah, man, it's over on 76. It's awesome.
like the Acme company, like Acme anvils and everything.
Yes.
Jeez,
That's funny.
So I make it with like free-range chicken
Yeah.
carcasses, essentially. I put the bones or the feet in, and then you just slow cook it for like 8 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
And what it does is it takes all of those good bits, like collagen, micronutrients, all of that stuff is leached out of the bones and the feet into the water, and then you keep the water. So when you drink it, you get the collagen. And like when you put it in the fridge, you'll know you've made it well if you take the thing and you shake it,
And it
it's
jellos
like
at the
jelly. Yeah, and then it's got that like nice layer of cream on top. Dude, it's so good. I made up some broth, and it must have been the best one I ever made, but I had it on Wednesday, and it was like this perfect, like beautiful, like dark golden color.
Yeah.
And you could see the fat, like the collagen on it in like little like oil
Oh
spots.
yeah, like
Oh,
little,
dude,
yeah.
it was so good. It was like so flavorful, and it was just like an angel died in my mouth. It was just unreal.
That might not be a good. Like, why are you eating angels?
Because they taste good. They taste like bone broth. So I always start my day with some bone broth. And then I try and do eggs next. I mean, you're a trainer. You know that eggs have that great biological protein.
I was a trainer.
And it's
I'm not
complete.
a trainer now, man. It's been a while since I've been training.
You were a trainer.
I was a
There you
trainer
go.
at one point, yeah.
So I always start, and you want to leave the yolk as soft as you can handle it.
Yeah.
And I always cook it up with a little cheese on top, and I eat that, and then I go on to my protein. Now, if I'm eating like a standard diet, I'll go from my eggs to maybe like blueberries or raspberries, something that's high in antioxidants is going to give you all that benefit. And then I'll move on to like, again, steak and potatoes, or chicken hearts and onions, or liver and onions, salmon. You want to mix it up as much as you can, because you want to get as many different nutrients as you can, obviously. I mean, I think that's pretty common sense. But because I'm doing the fasting, I like to get as nutrient-dense meats as possible. So I like my livers, I like my chicken hearts. I do steak once a week. I like nice fatty hamburger because I'm doing keto. If I'm not doing keto, it's got to be lean, because you don't want all that fat and a baked potato at the same time. But I put sour cream on everything. I always have some sauerkraut. And then usually I'm 3,200, 3,300 calories later. It's about 3 hours, and then I just stop eating, and I'm not hungry. It's now like 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to be full.
So you just sleep, and then
Yeah.
you basically sleep it all off. You wake up, and you're ready to rock
And
and
I
roll.
feel
You're
like
light.
$1,000,000.
Yeah. That sounds awesome,
Can you
man.
do it like this? Can you do, as opposed to the 16 and 20, 16, 20, 16, 20, can you do it like every Tuesday you just don't eat?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's like resets your week?
So there are a few ways that you could do intermittent fasting. One is the daily way, which is like the 16-8 or the 20/4. That's when you do it every day. Then there's the one where you eat normally 5 days a week, and then 2 days a week you would just cut your calories down to like 500 calories. I don't recommend that because 500 calories would make me ridiculously hungry, and I would be
Angry.
Why don't you just go?
Angry.
Why don't
He's
you just
so
go to? Why
fucking
don't you just go
mad.
to 0 calories? Like do 44
Exactly.
hours at 0. So like
And you could do that.
Tuesday, Wednesday, you don't eat.
Now, the problem with eating.
I like that as opposed to doing it every day.
But every day doesn't seem like that much because your body will eventually get used to it. And it's just
No,
your
I don't.
eating
It's not
habit.
that. It's I'm thinking of my fucked up life schedule. Like I
Oh,
couldn't do.
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out like
Well, you could.
I don't know. My life. I have a weird
'cause
life.
Well,
It's
you'd
just
have
all
to-
over the
You'd have
map.
to just do it in the morning. The only problem is that you'd basically have to eat first thing in the morning.
Wait,
and not
what's
eat the rest
your
of the
what's
day.
your night like?
It's all over the map. Like it's just
It's
like
not,
with the-
it's
with
not
like-
really. You have a
with
set
like the
schedule. You don't-
restaurant?
you don't normally start till 5, and then you might go till 3 or 4 in the morning. So it's sometimes.
Why
a
are
thing.
you there that late?
I don't know. It's the conversation for another time. But shit doesn't end.
So when I worked at the restaurant at night, what I do is I would normally break fast at like 6 o'clock. So any night that I didn't work, I was working 3 nights a week at Parlor. Any night that I didn't work, I would eat at 6 o'clock.
yeah.
Okay, so let's say that I'm at work until 11. Well, that's really 5 hours later. So instead of doing a 20-hour fast, I'm doing a 25-hour fast. And then I would just eat. And because I have a 4-hour window and can shift it back and forth, say I stop eating at midnight, well, I can still hit 20 hours by 8 o'clock the next day. But if I normally eat at 6 and I want to eat at 6 and I just did a 25-hour day, doing an 18-hour, there's nothing wrong with doing 18 hours. So I just push that back a little bit and I eat at 6 o'clock again. And then I'm back on schedule.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It seems
You know what I mean?
It seems like I got enough in my life to worry about than like
It'll
16
actually-
and 20, 16 and 20.
It'll actually free up your time because you're literally only cooking and eating once a day. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about eating. I'm just going to eat after work. That's it.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Before you
I
go
don't
to
know,
bed.
I gotta
Yeah.
figure things
Just
out.
eat before you go to bed.
Yeah.
That's basically what it sounds like. It's like you're gonna eat a couple hours before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
like
you
if
sleep
you go to
really
sleep,
well too.
Yeah, I would. Well, because you can eat as much as you want, so you knock yourself out.
Yeah.
So you just go.
Literally knock
you
yourself
literally
out.
knock yourself out with food.
That's
You're
right.
like out, and I'm just like, and you go and sleep because.
I'd prefer to do 44 or whatever 2 days in the middle of the week.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. So we got
Okay.
we got the intermittent fasting.
Done.
Perfect, no problem. Long fast. Let's talk about the long fast. Let's talk about the 5-day, 10-day, 12-day fast. 12.
So-
what are we going up to? 40 days. We're going. For
I'm
40
gonna
days and
I'm
40
gonna do
nights?
40 days.
Yeah.
For
That's
Lent.
what you're working your way up to. So Lent
Yes.
next year. So we got
In like 2 months.
2 months. You're gonna hit 40 days.
Yes. So
You heard it here first, guys.
when I
Are you gonna
started.
take a before and after picture?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to see what you
I
look.
look good. So before, when I started, well, like when I did the 3-day, I was, because I'd been looking into the longer fast and looking into it, and I was
Yeah.
really excited by some of like the results that they'd gotten from
Yeah.
it. And losing weight's awesome, and you'll burn about 1 pound of body fat a day, which is awesome. Like there's nothing better than it. You have to be careful when you come off because your metabolism will slow down, but people say that like it's a negative thing. It's not.
It means because when you see people who do those
Yeah.
those diets for like bodybuilding shows, and then they come in after the bodybuilding shows, they
Yeah.
much, and then they basically
They
put on
like a ton of weight.
because their metabolism is so slow now.
So everybody's like, oh, your metabolism is going to slow down, blah, blah, blah. What they mean is you don't need to eat as much. You're just going to save money on groceries. So you're going to lose weight, and then you don't have to eat as much. It seems like a great
That's
plan.
like a win-win situation.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
people, perspective's everything, right? So they're looking at it the wrong way.
They're like, how
well,
come I can't eat this much food?
Yeah.
I'm just like, why do you want to have that much food? Why
Exactly.
would you want to knock
You're-
yourself out? Why do you want to
you're-
spend that much money on food?
your body has gone through a situation of hormetic stress and has learned how to survive on less calories.
Which means
so you
less
eat,
money.
Yeah, so you eat less.
Spend less
That should
and
be that should be like your goal. Hey, wow,
I look
didn't
better. I have more energy. I'm eating less. I'm spending less money on food, and I'm just like, that makes sense
Yeah.
on why they would fast though, because like
Yeah.
when you're hunting and stuff, you don't know when your next meal
Yeah,
is.
it's like,
so
okay,
you're
cool.
constantly rationing your food.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna hunt for a deer, and I have a piece of wood and another piece of wood with a string, and I have to kill something with it, and I don't have a laser sight, and it's not a compound
You
bow.
just figured out that it was a bow.
No,
Right?
I knew it was the whole
So,
time.
so you go out and the wife and the kids are back in the nice little protected hut because they have their little protected space because they're privileged class. And you're like, all right, I'm going to go out with the dangerous animals, and I'm going to try and kill something with a stick. So if you don't succeed,
if I don't show up in like back in like 2 or 3 days, I may have died,
Yes.
and you may have to look for a new supporter.
you find a new husband, you'll be fine. So you go out, and it's been, I don't know, let's say
2 or 3 weeks or some shit. Like,
let's say the average person now goes 3 hours without food, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so hangry, what am I gonna do? If you were that way 6,000 years ago, and you were like, I've been in the woods for 3 hours and there hasn't been a
would've
Starbucks,
slapped you.
you're gonna fucking die. You're a dead man. So what happens is...
You know why you're going to die? Because your tribesmen are going to be like, we got our meals,
That
boys.
little bitch. Yeah.
You little
right.
bitch, we're going to eat you now.
The other white meat.
The other
So-
white meat.
So as you get to like hour 20, your body starts to work better because it's like, wait a minute, we need to kill something and we
Now.
need to have maximum energy and we have to have clear thought to do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have those things, you're going to starve. So your body will actually respond to that stress in an extremely positive way, which is awesome. But
This is like the life hack for how
Yeah.
the body working in terms
So-
of like how the nature hack.
like it makes no sense that you're out trying to kill something that's faster, with better senses, and sharper bits than you, and you're going to get stupid because you're hungry. Like, are you
Because
kidding?
they're intermittent fasting, like
And
consistently.
they also do that.
All the
yeah.
animals are because they don't
Oh,
know
they
when
do
their
the
next
same
meal
thing,
is. They're
yeah.
doing the exact same thing. That's why they're so sharp, and that's why
That's
they're
actually, that's a sick correlation.
yeah.
So
like
here's-
that's what it is. They're
Like
they're
lions
like
and
holy smokes, like
Predators, yeah, they're on their game.
They're on their game when they're hungry, bro. You don't want to mess around with a hungry cheetah or a hungry lion.
You don't want to mess around with a hungry me.
Yeah, man.
Easy.
Choke a man. Get that last ho-ho, you know? But so this is my argument for breaking a fast. So everyone, like if you watch any of the retreats with like the vegans and the hippies, they'll always be like, you got to start with just broth and then have some watermelon. And it's going to take you like a week to get back to like just whole vegetables because vegetables are good for you. Horse shit. I can break a 25-day fast in 6 hours and I don't have any problems. Because if you hadn't eaten in 4 days and you killed a deer, you're not going to be like, well, you know, maybe I should walk back to the village and then I'll have some nuts. And
Yeah,
then
I
maybe,
don't wanna be eating this
and-
bear right now. It could make me
maybe,
sick.
Maybe,
Like,
maybe they'll let me have some cheese, and then tomorrow maybe I'll have some vegetables that my wife. No, you're gonna skin the animal, cook the animal,
Well, while you're
drink the
skinning the
fat.
animal, you're probably like
Yeah.
nibbling a
They're
little bit.
gnawing on some shit, yeah.
So
No, some shit being like, I'm excited for this one, and then you get the broth ready. You're like,
And it's-
let me.
it's-
Oh, this tastes so good.
literally, you will never taste anything better. It's the best food you'll ever eat.
after fasting. For
After
sure.
a fast?
Even after 3 days, your palate will reset, and you will just sip that broth, and you'll be like, "This is the best shit ever." Anyway, so yeah, you gotta warm your system up, right?
This is gonna be because this is. Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna come on an experiment? Because
Yeah, I want to do
talked,
it.
We
I want
talked
to do
about
it.
doing some challenges.
I want to do them. I like the 40-hour. I don't like the figuring out what the hour 20 and hour 16 is. I don't like doing that.
You're gonna find the 44.
I'd rather do that.
where you're not used to it. You're gonna find that tough.
I don't mind that.
It's doable, but it will be tough.
So we did the 20. So with the
Can I do it-
44, how does the 44 work again? Because you broke that down a little bit.
Yeah, you just don't eat for one full day.
Am I able to do that
Like one full
starting
day or
fresh?
two- that's
Is
two
that
full-
too hard on my
You
system?
should be able to do
That's
that.
2 full days, right?
Yeah. So let's say you ate.
Oh, so you
It's
mean
9:30. So let's say you stop eating today at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
So tomorrow at 10 o'clock would be 24 hours. So
You
wait,
can't
what's
eat
today?
again until 6 o'clock the
so
next day.
Thursday at 6
Is when
you'd
you
eat.
you eat normal day. So
Right?
you're skipping a meal every day.
Yeah. You're doing one full 24 hours,
Dude, that
and then the
sounds-
next day you don't eat
That
until...
sounds worse, bro.
I don't mind that. I don't mind. I'd
You're
rather
eating-
do
you're
that
eating- You're eating like one less meal every day.
Like what you're going to notice...
No. I'm saying like do this only 2 times a month. I like just do it like first week you do 2 days no meals. Next week you eat normally, and then you do it like just to clean your
Okay,
system.
so is a good way to go about this then? Is to start with the 20, Once you get like a month of the 20 down, move the 20 into trying to do the 44.
That's what I did, yeah.
And then once you get the 44 down, then you can move into like a day or two.
Yeah, you can do longer. So
and then like how often can you just move that cycle where basically you do like 2 days off and then you eat and then you go again another 2 days and then eat? Is that how it works?
When I started,
sounds like a bad system.
I did the 20-hour fast every day. The intermittent fasting was every day. And then every Friday, I wouldn't eat anything. So that was my 44-hour. Was every like Thursday night I would eat and I wouldn't eat again until Saturday. So every Friday I went without eating. And that was fine because I'd been doing the intermittent so long it didn't bother me. And then once a month, I added in a 3-day. So I would do the 20, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I wouldn't eat Friday, and then I wouldn't eat Saturday, and then I would eat Sunday. And then the next week I would just go back to normal with just not eating Friday. And I would do that. And then that was pretty easy. I was like, okay, that's not so hard. So I did that 3 months, and then I thought, I'm gonna try the 5-day. So I'm gonna eat Sunday night, and then I won't eat again until 120 hours later on a Friday night.
And all we're having is water and coffee.
And all I was having was water and coffee. Oh, and I worked at 2 restaurants.
Oh, man.
So I worked at a steakhouse in the morning and a pizza place at night.
All the food. So you're water, coffee, and fumes.
Yes.
Okay.
So I got
Not even the fumes. The stress on your body from working in restaurants is.
Well, yeah, you burn a lot of calories.
Yeah, there's a lot of calories being burned.
It's good though. It's good. So I got to the Friday.
Sounded crazy there for a second. He's like, it's good. Yeah, okay, that was amazing. Yeah.
So when I did the first 2-day, when I would normally eat, so like the Friday at 6, when I would normally be eating, I got really hungry because your body, it's not really hunger. What your body is doing is your brain's going, hey, we're supposed to be doing something right now. What are we not doing? So the first few times I did the 44, that was the tough point.
It triggers in, like once you get the cycle down, it knows, it goes, hey,
it's like, yeah, time to eat. This is when we eat now. Yeah. So the first couple of times I did the 44-hour fast, that was like the hard point. It's like, oh man, if I can just make it to like 10 o'clock, I'll be fine. Just make it to 10 o'clock, I'll be fine. So then when I started doing the 3-day one, it was at like the 44-hour mark where I would normally break a 2-day fast. I got like really hungry. I'd be like, oh man, yeah, normally I would eat here. And then, by the third time I was doing it, it wasn't hard.
So it was like an alarm clock.
Yeah. So then when I did the 5-day one, the first time, day 3 was super hard. I was like, man, I'm so hungry. Day 4, I was like, oh man, I wasn't like hungry. I didn't have that like gnawing feeling, but like I was thinking about food a lot. So then day 5 came and I had my broth and it was delicious and it was good. And I was like, actually, that wasn't as hard as I thought.
Do you think spirituality-wise you starved the demon out a little bit?
Yeah, probably. Probably the McDonald's demon.
He's just like
he gets me once in a while.
I can't get in this. This vessel's not good for me, man. There's too much purity in this thing.
So,
I gotta get out.
So every time I push a little bit further, that's what I notice. So when I did my 9-day in January after the 5-day, the first 5 days were a cakewalk. I wasn't nothing. Like it was like nothing at all. Like I was just floating through life. And then day 6 was like, oh yeah, I'm a little hungry now. And then day 7 was like, man, I could eat.
Okay, but now when you say a little hungry, like what are some of the actual physiological effects that people are gonna experience or feel? Like are you hungry?
Well,
you said a lot of your senses are starting to get heightened, but like, are you just fighting with the stomach pains and hormone levels? Like what are you gonna expect?
If you ask 10 people what it feels like when they're hungry, you'll get like at least 7 different answers. They'll describe it slightly differently. So for me, when I get the symptom that I think is hunger or that I have associated with hunger, which I don't think is hunger anymore, it's just kind of like it's not even unpleasant really. It's almost like it's like a slight muscle spasm, but it's just in my stomach. That's what I associate with hunger. It's like,
you can fight that with a cup of coffee, can't you? Like you said, when you feel that, you're like,
is that bad?
I don't know, because coffee's an appetite suppressant.
I know this, but I'm saying like you could fuck some shit up with having coffee.
Not if you had
Like
too much.
well,
of it.
not
your
if-
adrenal glands?
No,
like
if you too much of it, like because you have to remember your body flushes the coffee out. So what happens is if you have a cup of coffee, you have to have 2 cups of water now to get that water system back. So otherwise, otherwise
it dehydrates you a little.
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You can dehydrate yourself.
That's what I'm
doing
saying.
this, and you have to do it
That's why you
properly.
have to keep in mind every cup of coffee you have.
Yeah, but
2
you guys
cups of
didn't say
water.
that. You're like, yeah, just a cup of coffee. You're
Well,
gonna
no,
say,
but I'm saying in having coffee,
Yeah,
that's what I know.
it's
If
an
I'm hungry, I'll
appetite
just drink
suppressant.
coffee black, and all of a sudden my hunger is gone.
See, I cut my coffee. I do about 1/3 of a cup of coffee and then 2/3 of a cup of purified water. But I don't like hot. I don't like hot
purified
coffee.
water. We'll have to talk about that later.
Yeah.
It's a-
So,
you don't like coffee, that's why.
No, I like coffee. I don't like hot coffee. I like to be able to drink it just like a drink.
Pound
Well,
it
yeah,
back.
well, you're not really supposed to be drinking anything over 4 degrees, like 4 degrees above or below room temperature.
Oh, see, there you go. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
so
That's
the
probably why you
That's
don't
why
like
the
it.
maximum you're supposed to go is 12, but
Yeah.
then you lose all of the value of whatever, like.
whatever you're drinking.
Yeah. So what happens is you're only supposed to be drinking it because it shocks the system too much.
Huh.
So that's why they say like water should only be drinking at 4 degrees below.
Oh yeah, I do mine at room temp.
Below room temperature, and
Yeah.
and coffee should be drinking at 4 degrees above. To
Shouldn't
get
be
the-
piping hot.
to get the maximum benefits from the actual beverage, because your body always go fuck, it's hot.
Yeah.
Spikes the system, you don't get anything from it because it's like I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
But if it's like you said 4 degrees, your body will just suck the
it's
nutrients.
just-
Every now and then, it's not terrible to treat yourself to have like a hot something or a cold
Yeah.
whatever.
Like a
But
hot
you do-
apple
but what you're-
cider.
like a hot apple cider.
But what you're getting is the heat from that is what you're getting. You're like, oh, it feels safe.
Yeah,
so
exactly,
warm,
right?
it's
That's
in my
what I'm
stomach.
saying.
It's you're not getting the actual value of from the drink.
Yeah, they're not the nutritional
the value
side of
the
it.
value of the drink is I get to have a nice thing and I feel good doing it, Steve. Like,
Yeah.
geez Louise, man.
Yeah.
I could go for a hot apple cider, a little cinnamon.
I know, right? I'm thinking of that now too. Shit. Well, none for me until the 18th of December, but whatever.
How are we doing for time?
It's 9:42.
Yeah,
42.
I think we're doing
Let's
okay.
let's a couple books that people or someone would recommend. Let's finish
Okay.
off on something like that, on like where people can go to learn a little bit more about this if they want to get started. Because from what we got right now is like it's obviously we want to start with the intermittent fasting, so the 16 to the 20-hour fast, and then having 4 hours of eating in
Yep.
between. And then the next step after that would be a 44-hour. We were talking about 44,
Yep.
which means every second day you're eating on that schedule, and
Yeah.
then doing.
And then you-
perhaps-
then you can
doing
look
the
into the
1 day
longer
or
ones,
2
yeah.
days or 3-day fast,
Yeah.
right? A 5-day fast, a week like a week long fast. Like that sounds pretty heavy. Like that
Well, you
sounds
just,
pretty heavy.
I mean, like, do it like I did it, right? Like I did 1, and then I did 2, and I did 2 a few times, and I was like, okay, nothing happened there, and then I tried 3,
Listen
and
to
that
your
was
body.
okay. Yeah,
Listen to
you
your
just
body.
be very, very conscious of what your body's telling you. Like I talked to my cousin about this, and women have a little bit harder time with the intermittent fasting than men, just because,
Hey, that you.
Well, they're
Okay,
supposed
never mind.
to.
I'm not going to get us
Well,
started on
women
that
are
one.
supposed to carry a little bit more fat
And
in
yeah.
the body because of the nurturing of the.
But I mean, think evolutionary. So think about the guy who then goes out and he's got to hunt the thing, and so he's got to be like sharp and whatever.
Why does it have to be the guy hunting?
I think we all know why it has to be the guy hunting, Cam, because women are physically less capable.
Not-
There's nothing wrong with that. They're not as fast, they're not as strong, they're not as agile. It's not my fault.
And this is the thing. You can have a strong woman, like a
Yes.
super strong woman, that will basically, because there's super strong women out there that'll basically outshine like an average
Yeah.
man.
But, like, the percentiles are
But a percentiles.
not
If you
the
get a
same.
super fit, strong woman who's super strong, put them up against a super strong male. There's no comparison.
The
That
other
seems
thing,
kind of sexist,
now-
to be
now-
honest.
But it's no comparison. You
that's
can't-
just life.
It doesn't mean that the
bastard.
female can't be a super warrior ninja.
You know what? I'm just opening a can of worms. I shouldn't have done
So,
that.
but here's the other reason. So,
I'll stop.
one woman, right? Especially like 6,000 years ago, one woman could repopulate the tribe, right?
They're very valuable. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
They have more inherent value. So it pays to keep them safe, which is why they didn't go out and hunt. Also, because they're short and weak and frail and whatever.
Well, because you're feeding them and they're birthing babies.
Yeah. So they
That's what they're doing. They're
they
birthing
stay
the
back
tribe.
in the protected area and they gather. So women generally ate more like a gazelle, where they were like collecting seeds and nuts, and they were
But
in the
the
safe
berries,
spot.
what do they call them? Gather.
Hunter-gatherers.
So they were doing they were doing the gathering. They were eating more frequently. It's easier for women, generally speaking, in my experience, to eat the smaller meals. It seems to work better for them. They seem to like it better. Whereas most of the guys that I've talked to that try the intermittent fasting are like, oh my God, it's so much better. It's so easy. I feel better. I'm sharper. My cousin couldn't
got it
do
wrong then in terms of like having to be like, oh, you know, you got to be eating on a regular body so your metabolism increases. Your metabolism does increase from eating that, but like you said, you're fucking hungry all the time.
All the time.
Because your metabolism is through the roof.
Yeah,
So
and you'll end up overeating.
You're just teasing yourself.
And you're overeating it. Yeah, you're just that's exactly what happens. Is because it's like, have a lot of small meals, don't fully satisfy yourself, and then constantly be hungry forever. And so your body will then expect food all the time and will always be hungry.
Yeah.
And you're going to basically have to starve. You'll feel like you're starving yourself, and you'll be eating way too much food. Is 100%. What ends up happening when you overeat. And it's interesting. So like intermittent fasting makes sense because you reprogram the brain into not taking the same amount of calories, but you don't have to eat as often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So books. I would
Resources,
do The Obesity Code by Dr. Jason Fung. He also has the YouTube channel. It's really good. I would do The Warrior Diet. I don't remember who wrote it, but he's the one that is really behind the 20-hour fast, the 4-hour feed. That would be a good way to start. I would look up information, and I did this on YouTube, but I would look up things on Dr. Rhonda Patrick. She's a doctor in the States who studies hormetic stress. So she studies like cold therapy training, sauna training, fasting, time-restricted eating windows. And she's a doctor, so you know she's good. So she's really great. There is a doctor on YouTube called Dr. Kelly Ann Petrucci. She really, really went into the bone broth and the benefits of it and how it helps your immune system, how it helps your digestion, how it can rebuild cartilage. So if you've got arthritis, having like 2 cups of bone broth a day can reverse arthritis. This is all stuff that was documented in medical journals, well-respected medical journals in like the 1910s, so like 1911, 1914. All this information is already published. Who else is really, really good with like solid data? Dr. Eric Berg is really good. He's got a site. He is going to try and sell you some hippie seaweed stuff, but just don't buy his seaweed stuff. He's got lots of good information.
I hope he doesn't watch the show now, because now.
I said he's good.
He's good.
He's awesome. No,
he's trying to sell you some shit.
Hippie shit.
He's trying to sell you the hippie shit. Stay away from the hippie shit.
I kind of want him to watch the show, and I want to see the response.
Oh, he's actually super cool. He actually does this thing where, he does exercise. He's good stuff.
Check out his stuff. If you want to buy his hippie shit, you can buy his hippie shit.
So those are the ones that I started with, and then from there I branched out. But that's where I would start, because they all have solid information. They're mostly doctors, so they are going to cite the sources that you're going to want to hear. I mean, you never want to listen to some lunatic in a black shirt telling you that you should not eat. That's crazy. But do your research.
Do your own research.
I mean, I researched it for like 2 years as I was doing it. And I was put on the path by someone who was a personal trainer and educated.
I like to learn. I like to basically pick and choose who I learn from. Like, I've been to some schools where I've paid to go to school, and you sit there and you have a teacher that's not interested in teaching anything, and then you start to realize this guy's a paychecker. He's only here to get a paycheck. He doesn't even care. I don't even think he really knows the information. I'm like, how am I supposed to learn from this guy? And then you have other people who have actually done experienced stuff. Will teach you more information. You get more stuff. I'm like, because they've gone through it.
Yeah. You talked about Wim Hof yet?
I was thinking about doing that in another episode, because I had like an experience this last weekend.
See, there you go.
It was the most wild time of my life.
He's another one I would go to, because it's hormetic stress.
Yeah.
Hormetic stress is something that people should look up. I just started to like look into this, but like working out, cold therapy, sauna therapy, and fasting are all forms of hormetic stress. Yeah. And it's like, oh, these things are all really, really good for you, and they all have the same base element. So it turns out that hormetic stress is the key to making yourself better. So the more ways that you can do that, better you're going to be.
There's this awesome lady in China, don't know her name, just kind of read about it in passing type thing, but saw a little video on her. Yeah. And she's, I don't know, like 87 years old, looks like she's 25. But she's the only one in this one village who just goes out into this frozen lake every day and swims around for 20 minutes and then comes back. which is wild. It's just. Yeah.
This is one that you'll appreciate. So apparently, the oldest person on record is from a small Chinese village, and he's dead now, but this was like documented in like the 1950s. He was like 190 years old. And if you saw the picture of him, he did not look 190. And he ate a very clean diet. He fasted. He went out in the cold when it was cold. He did the hot training, and he lived forever. Like literally forever. There were people that were like kids when he was an old man that died before him. And it's unreal. Like just
that
these
almost
stories.
sounds sad because like you're one of these guys who's basically just watching everyone around you die.
That's
Yeah, whatever. I didn't like those people anyway.
Didn't
It's just fucking ruining my village.
didn't in the biblical times? I know it's another thing, but didn't they live till 900 years?
But
800
I think a lot of
years?
that had to do too because they were like supposedly came from like the gods and stuff like that, so they lived a lot longer.
The other interesting thing, and this is a massive misconception that people have, they're like, oh no, people only live to like 35. That was the average lifespan. That is the average lifespan. But
that was because
like,
they were being
yeah,
attacked by bears
when,
and stuff.
when 2 out of 3 kids die in childbirth, and 1 out of 2 women die in childbirth,
That brings the average down.
that brings the average way down.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, cool, this kid lived for like 1 day. All right, well, that cancels out Mr. 100.
Yeah.
if you lived past childhood, you generally lived 70 years. And you lived it in good health. So there's one indigenous tribe left that we haven't fucked with.
Is that the one that they?
I was talking about this Indian tribe.
Oh no, not the one on the island.
Yeah.
These guys are down in South America. I just saw a thing on them. But they went down and they, did like medical tests on them because they're the last people living like a paleo lifestyle. And they don't have.
They let them. The tribe let them do medical tests, like stick needles in them.
Yeah, I guess. But
That's a trusted tribe.
Perfect blood work, no high blood pressure, no like artery problems, no heart attacks, nothing. They live this clean lifestyle. They go to bed when it gets dark. They get up when it gets light. Perfectly healthy.
Sounds like the life.
They make us look like sacks of crap.
We kind of are.
Kind of our sex grab.
Yeah, but we got nice clothes.
We say, yeah, we got.
Dude, you killed me with that mustache, though. Like,
Thanks. 70s Nason.
oh,
That's
man.
what that is.
I don't know, shit's wild. Yeah, I guess we got nice clothes in return for that.
That's right,
High
man.
blood pressure is the payoff.
I get to carry a little radiation carrier in my pocket, which is probably killing my testes, but, whatever.
Hey, you got to get one of these. That'll stop that.
Oh.
I know. Got that right now.
That's a good
You know what I
idea.
started thinking of too is like I got this stupid Wi-Fi thing right next to my bed. I'm gonna have to move that.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's the transformer box that are in from the ground coming up outside of buildings is what really gets you.
Oh,
Well, the
Those
fact that I
aren't good at
have the Wi-Fi right at my head is not gonna help either.
No, it's adding to it.
Yeah.
You should have some bone broth. Help clear that up.
Yeah, or at least unplug it at night.
That's
That's what I
right.
can do. That night, just unplug it.
Yeah, but I listen to...
That doesn't affect me.
That sounds like an issue.
That sounds like a you problem. All right. Well, man, thanks for coming on the show. This was
No worries
this was
at
a
all.
great show today and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I like being healthy. I'm a hippie. I don't know what
Dude,
happened.
that
to
was
me.
awesome, yeah. Well, I guess we will end it here. For you guys on the live, you guys got cut off 40 minutes ago. So,
Wait,
what's going
they
on?
got cut off, and why are we saying goodbye to them?
I don't know. It's just
For you
why-
guys watching
you
there.
just said goodbye to like an empty camera.
I know.
Well, he's letting they're recording over here, so he's just
Yeah.
letting people know that he's acknowledging the people that showed
Yeah,
up.
I'm not. Thank you guys.
He's not letting. He's
Yeah,
not gonna-
those guys that were watching live, we fucked those guys.
Yeah, those guys are done.
You guys got 45 minutes of free show. You're good. You want to
you
watch
got-
the rest of the show? You gotta come and pick up the rest of the show on Thursday. Where all the rest of the stuff.
Yeah,
That actually might be a good
I know,
idea.
that's what I'm saying. That is a good
That's
idea.
a good idea. We'll start the behind the scenes. Behind the scenes ends when the
That's
behind the
hilarious.
scenes ends.
It'll just die.
That's great.
And then people have to come back to the show to
my
watch
God.
it on Thursday.
Yeah, no, I actually appreciate
I
that.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
See,
okay.
everything
That's
works
good
out for a
stuff.
reason.
That's
Anyways,
right,
yeah, we got James Nason. Thank you so much.
No
Thanks
worries,
for
my
being on the
friend.
show.
Thanks.
Pleasure,
That was
as
awesome.
always.
We'll see you guys next week. James Nason, everybody.
I forgot that.
Dude, that was great.
Yeah, good show.